Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to show you how you can take a much loved deer film, simplify those doodles down so that you can have a really creative movie inspired theme with very few doodle skills. Let's get up into how I'm going to functionally set it up. So I'm going to split both pages in half, which in a Dingbats notebook is 7 centimeters. I'm then going to go and split it into thirds vertically, which is about 13 dot spaces, and it breaks it up into 3 equal sections, which makes my brain very happy. I'm going to take a nice big brush pen, and for the top 2 dot spaces on each third, I'm going to do a little scribble line, which is where my head is going to be, and then every alternate line I'm going to do in a brush colour. I'm going to use 3 colours, and I've sort of played around with colours for this one. This is going to be a predominantly purpley pink spread, so I've picked out the darker purple, a lighter purple, and then a pink. I do find if you can pick 3 complementary colours, 3 colours that work, play around with them and pick them, that kind of puts so much effort into the page before you've really done too much. So this is what I'm doing here. I am leaving on the right hand side of the page, the 2 bottom sections I'm leaving free because that's where the doodle's going to go. So I'm just blotting in, getting as much colour down on the page because that's satisfying, isn't it, once you've done that. And because we've added so much colour, it already looks pretty complete, so it's just on to a bit of a doodle. So I've blocked out this rectangular space, I've took it right up to that centre line. I'm now going to leave a 2 dot space border edge all the way around that rectangle, and then I'm going to leave a 2 dot space in the middle as well. So I'm drawing 2 squares in here, which are 4 by 4 dot squares. It's 2 dots, then the square, 2 dots, then the square, 2 dots. So then I go on to the rectangle shapes that are going to be below the door. These are 7 by 4, so they're 7 dot spaces in length. I leave 2 dots again. You're going to hear me say that a few times. And then I put in another 7 by 4 square. So we've already started to see a bit of a door. I'm going to stick a circular door handle in between the 2 rectangular spaces. And here's the point where you're probably going to have to do the most amount of creative skill, and that's drawing a flower. For me, I can freehand because I've probably drawn these more times than I know what to do with. But if I was going to say to anybody how to do them, if you're not certain, start with drawing a circle like I have with the door handle, and then begin to put some art shapes that go up like around that circle, and you should begin to see a bit of a flower. Each one of those flowers then is going to have a circle in the middle. And what I'm doing is I'm following a picture. Hopefully you guys have picked up by now that this is Boo's door from Monsters Inc. Hence why it's all pinks and purples. So the flower's going to be in there. I'm going in, this is probably quite an important part. In all of the rectangles and squares, go 1 dot space along, and on the left hand and bottom edge, just draw in a line. This is going to help to give our door a little bit of 3D shape to it later on when we outline, and it really does make all the difference for your doodle. So now I can go in with my black outliner and just put in all of those lines over the top of the pencil drawings we've done. I certainly don't get all of my lines completely straight. In fact, there's a couple that are very questionable as to what I was doing. I've got no excuses. Sometimes your doodles come out great. Sometimes you go a little bit off-piste. But I can go in now. I do get a little bit fancy here and think, oh, should I make the door handle really 3D? I decide, no. This is not the time to get fancy. 1 circle, go in with your pen. I've switched to a thinner pen here for the inner doodles, as what I don't want is to have all of these inner lines really black and bold and chunky, because this door's quite delicate. The colour's going to do most of the work in this spread. We don't want really hideous black lines. You may have seen me put some dots in before I put the ruler down. Oh, look at the wibbly line there. I have a tendency when I'm drawing, because the ruler is over my doodle, I don't always know when to bring the pen up, and you don't want to overshoot lines. That just crushes your soul. So what I do is I go and put a black dot on all of the corner points so that when I put my ruler down, I can see those black dots, and then I know when to lift my pen up off the page. So I'm going in, all of the pencil lines we've done. Obviously, if it hits a flower, don't draw over the top of the flower. Just stop your line and bring it back down on the page when the flower ends. I overshot one of those little lines, so I have made an exception to my just go with it rule, and I've just gone in and I did a couple of little bits of white spots just to clear it up a little bit. This is the time, now that you've got that black outline in, to get rid of all the pencil marks that you've been putting down. Get rid of them. We're now on to full colour. So to colour in, I have literally raided my pen stash for every pink and purple type of colour that I can get my hands on. I'm copying the picture of Boo's door, so I kind of have an idea of which flowers are going to be darker and lighter. Here's where I reference and look at the picture and think, oh man, I forgot a flower. So I've gone back in, added that in, and I think hopefully you will see what I've done. I've picked up a black outliner that I used for the outline, and it's thick, and so what I've ended up doing is outlining that flower in a thicker pen to the others. And I think this just gives you a really good example, not that I did it deliberately, on why I chose a thinner black outline as opposed to a big thick black outline. It really wouldn't have worked as well. The only colour exceptions to my pinks and purples will be an orangey door handle and the yellows of the inside of the petals. And now it's on to giving this door a little bit of definition. I'm taking a soft pink and I'm outlining all of the inner edges of the boxes. Is that still classed as outlining on the inside of the boxes? You know what I mean, you can see. This is something that Boo's door has. It has that pink lining on all of the panels. I'm then going to take my lightest lilac/purple pen and I'm going to go in on that left and bottom hand edge. You'll see that I'm drawing little diagonal lines on the ends, and that's because I don't want this purple colour to go right up to the top. I want it to look like it's beveled, so a little diagonal line out to the corner and you should be absolutely fine. I'm going to add in on the outside of the door as well, and I'm going to switch to a light, almost like a powder blue colour, to do on the opposite. So I'm going to go on the top and the right hand edge with that blue, very thin line, don't need too much, and then I'm going to complete that square. So we did the black inner lines, and then I'm going to fully make the rectangle, but just with a really light colour, and that makes it as 3D as we're going to need. So for headers now, just to finish this spread off, I'm just going and finding the middle box, which if your headers are going to be like mine, the middle section is going to be 6.5 dot spaces. And I'm just writing out the days of the week. So I'm going to attempt to freehand brush letter. Cross your fingers for me. But what I still want to try and do is keep things central. So I find the middle space and then I work out the middle letter of each word, and I'm writing in really lightly that word. It also helps me because I think I'm concentrating so much on brush lettering, I'm going to spell a word wrong. I just know it. So to avoid that, I write the word out and I'm just going in at this point. I'm keeping the letters this time, rather than slanted, they are upright. I am not the best person to teach you brush lettering. I think we can all attest to that. So I would say if you're interested in adding this type of font in your journal, there are so many great tutorials on YouTube. Get yourself on there. The premise is downstrokes are thick, upstrokes are thin. And I think if we're critiquing my brush lettering attempt on this one, then we can all say that my upstrokes, which are meant to be slithery thin, are so thick. I haven't quite mastered getting the pressure on the paper right. I'm even having to go back in with a white pen because I've closed off some of the letters. But it works. I'm happy with it. So literally this now is my weekly complete. It's a very simple layout, but it's a great way of adding a Disney-inspired movie into your journal with very little drawing skills. Let me know if it's something you enjoyed down below. Give it a like or a comment. Come and chat to me. But as always, guys, I'll see you soon.